Josh West, partner at Snowcap Labs, and today I want to talk to you guys about one of the many metrics that we use here at the lab to evaluate how good a market is. Now, I don't want to give you the impression that there's any magic bullets here or anything like that. There's lots and lots and lots of different things that you should look at across a very wide range of markets before you enter one. But particularly today, we just want to take a real gut check look at comparing two markets and seeing which one we think might be better based on this limited amount of information. So what I have set up for you ahead of time is an Excel spreadsheet, and I've taken the search terms off of two different seeds, one being that of hybrid cars and the other being architects. And we'll find out which one works out better with respect to these metrics. So let's get into it over here on the spreadsheet. And as you can see, what I've got here is I've simply summed the entire range, and here we've taken the standard deviation. Now, we don't need to get into all of the complicated math behind calculating the standard deviation. Excel's got this handy formula for us for calculating the standard deviation, and all you really need to understand about it is that it's sort of an average measure of the spread between the successive values within that range. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the standard deviation. It sort of really shapes the curve, and I wanted to show visually what we were looking at as far as the distribution here. So you can see that in the blue here, the hybrid cars, a lot of the volume and the search volume is in the top term there. And for clarification, I've got searches on the y-axis, and the x-axis is simply the top 100 terms. And so what we've got here is a much more robust curve with architects, and that's because the standard deviation there is lower, and so you get a more rounded vertical, if you will, rather than having all of your eggs in one basket with hybrid cars being the main term and then not a whole lot after that. But that's not really the complete picture because, well, what about the total volume? So let's imagine for a moment that we had two markets with very similar standard deviations. Well, obviously we'd still want to enter the market with more volume. So if we want to take an even quicker look at that rather than having to look at both of those calculations, what we've done here is simply divided the sum of the range by the standard deviation to get a value. Now here at the lab we call it Q. You can simply call it what you like, but as it turns out, if we take a look over here at architects, you'll see that the Q value is higher, and that's because its standard deviation is lower. We've got fairly similar volumes on each of these topics, but you can tell from the graph that it would be much more favorable to enter the architect market than it would the hybrid car market, because we've got a more well-rounded chance at getting to someone in that market rather than having to compete solely basically on that one real top term. So you've got a fatter tail, so to speak, there. So it would seem that that would be the way to go. But that's just a gut check on these two markets. And for you sharp guys out there, you'd say, well, Josh, you haven't taken out all of the bad terms out of each list. And you're right, because we've just simply pulled the seed really quickly, and we're just trying to take a really quick look at what's going on in those markets. And this is really meant for being one of those metrics that you should take a look at while you're still looking at tens and maybe even hundreds of markets. You get it down to 10 or so, then you might want to clean everything up and take a second look back through at things like that. But as long as we've got to look at many markets and we've got to run many metrics through them, this is just a quick way to get a good check on a market. So I hope that's helpful for you. You can always catch more at snowcaplabs.com/blog. I'm Josh West. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.